views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody, I want to welcome you. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Talk Radio to Thrive By. What a great show we've got planned for you. Oh, my gosh. I am so glad my very special guest joining me here today. It's all about find your special gift. Now, I will say this to you guys. In all the years I've been doing this, you've probably, on one hand, have heard my voice like this. And I just think it is just all the energy going on in the world, all of the things that are just blooming up around us. And of course, when you know it, here I am, got all the nasal thing going on. I'm probably going to need some kind of healing from Archangel Michael. And that's why Deborah Jacobs is joining us here today. For those of you that know who she is, well, you know, all you need to do is know readings by Deborah. If you want to know that, that would be enough, but it's not. You know, she has been helping people all over the world, people like you, people like me, get deep down under to bring our gifts forth. And why is this important? Well, this is the time. How do we know this? Energetically, you can feel it, but most importantly, think about it. We just have gone through a phase with the fourth blood moon in a cycle. Each of these blood moons falling on Jewish holidays. Now, out of it, we are looking at that to talk about what else is important. Well, we're going to hear from Archangel Michael today, but we're also looking at what are the years we're moving into. You know, if you talk to my friends, say, wow, we're moving into Jubilee. This is a time of freedom. This is a time to bring forth those ideas, those gifts. For those of you out there, we are going to be taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. And now let's talk about miracles, Benny, if we could. The Seattle Seahawks, what the heck happened?
What do you
mean? They looked like a totally different team.
No, it was a home game. Come on.
I'm telling you, it was the game of the games of the games.
Nah.
It just looked like, oh, my goodness.
We had
are
it.
home.
We had it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. We did have it, but it took me a while to believe we had it. And for those of you out there, I mean, this is a show where we get to talk about a lot of things. But, you know, let's think about this. You know, here Benny and I are. He's pushing all the buttons. We have Jessica pushing all the video buttons. And for those of you that are familiar with this new idea that we can do video, this show is also being broadcast in video. And I think Jessica may be able to show us on the screen how you can listen to it on video. I am not sure exactly about how it all works, but I know that this world-renowned psychic, Deborah Jacobs, is going to help us with all of this as we talk to Archangel Michael. We talk about dragons, we talk about gifts, we talk about healing, and we talk about getting the heck out of our smallness. Deborah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. What a wonderful introduction. I love the video.
Isn't it cool?
This is very cool.
Have you ever had to get out of your smallness?
Daily? I mean, you sort of have to wake up and sense where you're at and then shift. Mm-hmm. You know, and they're of course, I mean, I'm human just like everybody else is human. And you wake up in the morning and you go, okay, something's off. Especially when we're in this incredible Mercury retrograde that we're doing right now. I think everybody's energies, it's kind of like they threw confetti up in the air and are trying to catch it little pieces at a time.
Yeah. And what's interesting with Mercury in retrograde, and then parallel to that, we have the fourth blood moon of a cycle now in the past 2 years. Moving, into the year of Jubilee. A lot of conversations about what this means. But the one thing for sure over the next 7 years, people are talking about an energetic shift. What does Archangel Michael say about that? And I'm not talking energetic from like a, Debbie Downer point of view, but I'm talking about an expansive, explosive, get up and get off your couch kind of energy.
Yeah, Michael's over here just like, so what he's saying is the difference between this is for once you humans, I'm going to try to quote him because it's easier. For once you humans can quit trying to do the work and start doing the fun. And it's supposed to be about joy and living in joy and finding joy and that, it's been, he has the, kind of the whole new age community the last 20 years kind of, that's not nice. He kind of says, he does shoot from the hip and he's very sarcastic, but he says, it's sort of like we went from this 60s rock and roll love thing to like a snootier group of people. Right. And it became work and effort and you had to do all these things. And the angels are just laughing at us because it has nothing to do with any of that. He says, basically, you can take the stick out of your butt and just go have fun.
Yeah. And, this is interesting that you say that because you just described me. I mean, you described me from this hippie chick, table tennis player, right? Ping pong, in other words, this hippie chick that all of a sudden got the corporate job, started in the mailroom, pushing a mail cart, got a bunch of promotions, and all of a sudden, snooty is a really good word. Got all serious about life. It was like, I couldn't wait to go hang out with the disco ball. And now all of a sudden I'm worrying about what the board of directors is saying. I think a couple of times in our lives we get taken over by aliens or something.
Michael always says we tend to get taken over by ourselves. Yeah. One of the things that we as humans do is we teach our children to, think it through. We don't teach them to feel it through. So decisions end up backwards. We're supposed to go from your heart of how something feels to your brain, to the filing cabinets to find out the information, and then back to your heart for affirmation. And we've been trained, for hundreds of years, think it through, analyze it, make lists. And it's like people wonder why they don't manifest things. And it's because they leave out the number one part of manifestation is you have to feel it.
Yeah.
And so, now it's a time of feeling it. Do you want that new car? How would that feel? Then you go to your head and you figure out, can you afford whatever payments in the little filing cabinet? And then you go back to your heart and go, yeah, that would feel okay. Or no, I don't want to extend myself. Then you go feel something else.
Yeah, I love this. This is an interesting dynamic we have in the world right now. Today's show is about talking about the gifted. And of course, for those of you out there, phone lines are open. If you want to call in and, as we said before, tap in, get some wisdom from Archangel Michael throughout the show. But one of the things that I want to talk to you about is this idea where younger generations, and boy, for me, that's a lot of generations, right? I was at Woodstock. So
I think we're the same age.
Yeah, exactly. So this idea, this rap about younger generations, about being all technical and not feeling, I think that is really misunderstood. I'm watching the way that these folks, young people, and even older people are communicating on Facebook, and I've never seen more hurt feelings through this technology than in my entire life. We're ultra sensitive, aren't we, in a high-tech world?
Michael feels like and I feel like too, that the communications that we have in front of us as tools with phones and computers and all that are great as long as you don't become your technology. And you still have to get out and interact with other people. And I hear this a lot of the younger kids that are on Xbox, but what people don't realize is most of them are on Xbox Live, where they've got a headset and they are talking and interacting with kids all over the world. So that emotional base is there. Just sitting on a video game where it's just you to the video game, no, that emotion gets lost. But I don't see the problem as much with kids under 15 as I do from 15 to 50. There's like this group there that everybody retreated, became it's about me, it's an I world instead of it's a we kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really interesting about what you say. Anybody that's ever played a video game, and if you've ever watched Linda play a video game, my friend Linda, who of course, Linda, right? If you've ever watched Linda play a video game, you'll know that this is a triple Virgo that is highly intuitive. No one can excel at those video games without intuition. I don't care who you are. I don't know, how smart you are. A lot of the moves that bring you to game-changing, winning, and whatever the game is. It could be something as simple as pudding pop, one of my favorites, of course. It has a layer of intuition. We are not acknowledging that these days, are we?
No, and we're also not acknowledging the fact, especially with some of these video games, that I play them with my granddaughter, because you can actually deter things like Alzheimer's by playing these games, because you have so much parts of your brain, so many things triggering, and then they hide stuff like Super Mario. They hide things in places, and if you don't have an intuitive side, you will never win that level. But if you watch my daughter, who's very intuitive, and my granddaughter, and suddenly they'll walk through a wall, and it's like there's the gold coin. Well, that's intuition that says, go there, do this. So I have no problem with the video games like that. I think it's very good if you can constantly spark all of the parts of your brain to work, because every time you do that, you're igniting that part of your brain that you're intuitive, that everyone has.
Well, one of the things I love about today's topic and talk about the gifted is really looking at, how the gifted are really struggling with self-esteem. And I want to ask you about this and ask Michael about this, because, here we are, we have an extremely extraordinary group, I think, of talented people on the planet. As a matter of fact, throughout this video, and I think people are starting to see now images come across the screen by a very, very talented photographer. And, you could see her images coming across the screen now. With her permission, she has given us permission to look at these. They're embedded in a lot of her videos. Her name is Caitlin Firing. And, here you have this child that has grown up in the world that may or may not have understood, her talents or her gifts. But being able to bring them to the forefront, even for a short period of time, even if it is through something like photography, is not something that everybody is seeing that they can do, right? What they're not seeing is, can I bring my gift forward? Will I be acknowledged for it? And by the way, can I stop my parents from saying to me, would you get a real job?
Yeah, yeah, I heard that a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter of, this is how Michael describes it, so everybody can get a visual. There is not a living creature that does not have a gift. We all have gifts. Everything has a gift. If you were to picture yourself standing in front of the Boston Pop Symphony, okay? You see all these different instruments. One of those is your instrument. The problem I have seen, especially through the 30 plus years I've been doing this, too many people will go to a conference or a seminar, and let's say, just not picking on anybody, but just say they go to an aura reading class and they come out and 2 people out of 50 people got it. They can see auras. And everybody else leaves going, oh, I'm not psychic, and they quit. And it's like, it just wasn't your instrument. if you pick up a violin and you're supposed to play guitar, you're never going to play the violin well. So it's finding that right instrument. And it's really not hard to do. Like, I'm sure with the photographer, there was an interest. And somebody was smart enough to feed that interest.
Yeah.
And there the gift comes. When we're raised in, especially, I'd say the 30-somethings and up, and we're raised in families where you're only supposed to believe certain things, a very strict religion, whatever, girls aren't supposed to do this, blah, 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 you miss your gift, and you never learn that you have an instrument you can play or how to find it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know me, I could never get to the violin part. You know, and my hands were too small to play the cello, so I got the viola. That was me. You know, you ever try to play a viola in front of your parents, like for the holiday season, play a holiday song and everything? The only thing you hear is every other note, right, out of it. Yeah. But sometimes, you know, in life, and I say this for myself, you know, being second fiddle doesn't mean that you're second class. And I think this is really the conversation we have about gifted, right? We're living in a world where there's so much judgment about my gift is better than your gift. And
that's really the snobbery thing. I try to stay outside of that. I don't think, and I'll tell my clients this during readings, I am no more special because I happen to see and talk to Michael than they are at all. There is absolutely no hierarchy. Just some people, you know, they pick the piano and they practice every single day and they get really, really good. Some people are prodigies with their gifts and they come in and they just happen to have it. But it doesn't mean I didn't have to practice it. Yeah, Michael showed up at 6 years old. I didn't know who he was or what to do with it. In fact, I didn't really know what to do with it till I was in my 30s.
But, you know, this is it, right? I mean, you know, today's show, we're talking about gifted, and also, you know, you're able to communicate with Archangel Michael. And what a fabulous, fabulous gift. I mean, your messages go out all over the world through your social media, through your Facebook pages. And, you know, there had to be challenges along the way for you. You know, in order to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I wake up with, oh, wait a minute. You know what? Archangel Michael is like my best friend now. Okay. And by the way, let me tell you what he's saying.
You know, I didn't even know he was Archangel Michael. And I put that in quotes because he hates that, you know, until I was in my 30s. And I went to, one of my friend's mothers was a psychic, and I walked in the door and she was like a real witch, you know, full Wiccan, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I walk in the door and she goes, so what are you doing with Michael? And I went, oh, well, is that his name? Okay, he's my friend. I guess I was in my 20s. And she goes, he's Archangel Michael. And I went, okay, I was Jewish. We didn't learn about angels. I had no idea. Yeah. And in my world, Michael has always been kind of like John Travolta was in the movie Michael.
Right.
I don't know if you saw that, but he's very shoot from the hip, very sarcastic, very loving. Yes, you're very loving. But he does not hold back. You know, it's kind of like if you want to get a reading from me, don't call me trying to get you to let me convince you to stay with an abusive husband, because I won't do it. Michael won't do it. We will not bend anything. It's the truth. And I think that if people understood they could trust their gift, then there'd be a lot of us running around talking to angels and entities of all kinds.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting coming across the screen, I think now are going to be a couple of images. And I was fascinated in getting ready for this show. Of course, I'm the one that watches that, you know, Best Ink show or Ink Master tattoo shows, right? That's me.
I have some of those.
You watch it too? Okay. So, you know, so I was fascinated when I saw some of the tattoos of Michael. And some of them are coming across the screen right now. One of them was a full back tattoo. I wonder from Michael, did we get this right? You know, are we getting you portrayed? How are we doing with that?
No. he absolutely, you know, if an angel could hate, which he really doesn't hate, he'll go like this. Ugh. Right. You know, every time there's a picture of Michael putting a sword into the dragon,
exactly,
he just goes nuts because it wasn't portrayed. It was supposed to be. He was actually, you know, when he lived in human. I don't know if everybody understands. Michael was a human at one point. God put him on this planet so he could experience the human experience, so he could help humans better. And when I was in Scotland last year, I actually he let me visualize where he was knighted and everything, and even where he died. It was pretty amazing.
Wow.
But yes, he was a warrior, true. Did he slay dragons? No, he loves dragons. Did he try to extinguish evil? Yes. And I think that's where somewhere along the way, some artist got it wrong and decided dragons were evil. Let's have Michael kill a dragon.
Well, you know, and when we think about this in talking about dragons, we're going to talk more about dragons when we come back from break too, because, you know, part of this is, you know, taking a look at, isn't it an interesting relationship? I'm thinking about you, Deborah, right now. And I'm thinking about your relationship with dragons and your relationship with Michael. And you're right. You know, so many of the videos actually portray, you know, this warrior killing a dragon or killing something or doing something. And, you know, how did you and Linda, right? That actually for her birthday, I sent her a dragon. How did you get introduced to the world of dragons? How did they call out to you?
Well, it's interesting. You know, you talk about gifts that try to show up, you know, throughout your life and you kind of ignore them. I have always had this crazy obsession with dragons ever since I was born. I liked stuffed dragons, dragon pictures, dragon tattoos, anything dragon. And when I was in probably my early 40s, I was working with a shaman, this crazy shaman. I mean, seriously, out of his mind shaman, medicine man from the middle of nowhere. And he started telling me about dragons. And instantly I knew what he was saying, no matter how crazy he acted, that what he was saying was absolutely correct. And that I was given dragon medicine and dragon magic from a very young age. And that I could start working with that dragon energy in my dream work and actually shapeshift into dragon form in my dream work. And it's been really amazing because dragons see multidimensional. They consider there's 72 pleats of time at one time going on. So if anybody could remember what an 8-track tape player was,
oh yeah,
at any time you shift, and this is why in readings I won't use tarot cards anymore, because as soon as you shift, it's like somebody pushes that button on that 8-track player, and here's another outcome for your life, because you've just shifted into another one of those 72 pleats. So when I do dream work the night before a reading, I get to take a look with my dragons at all of the possibilities for someone.
Wow. And, you know, this is really kind of cool because our world is now really taken by dragons. I mean, you know, anybody that has been watching Game of Thrones, or if you've heard about Game of Thrones, people have said, what would happen if the dragons went away and the queen of the dragons went away? In my opinion, I would not watch it.
I wouldn't either.
I would not watch it. I would not be watching that.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a fascination. I don't know if she's like a good or bad queen, but she's the mother of dragons. Right. How does that even happen? So it's our consciousness that is having some relationship with this idea again, isn't it?
Yes. And I think it's kind of interesting that now, you know, people could believe that there were dinosaurs because we find, you know, in frozen tundras. And there's actually a couple things that my granddaughter, who's 11, pointed out that she has been studying dragons because she loves dragons. And supposedly scientists have found dragon remains in the ice.
Wow.
Well, why is that so hard to believe? If
Yeah.
we could believe there were dinosaurs, why couldn't we believe that there were dragons? Can dragons come back? I don't through my trainings, believe so in physical form, because in my trainings, I believe God took them back off the earth when humans started killing them, because they are here to protect this planet, and they work directly for God in doing that. So they are etheric beings now. Can you see them? Yeah, many can, but they have to do it in dream work or some sort of a meditation.
Wow. What a great thing we're doing here today. I mean, I have to get Miss Jessica to tell folks today, what we're doing is we're also live streaming the show on YouTube. When we come back, for those of you that are wondering how we're doing that, I'm wondering how we're doing it too. We're going to go to a short break. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, we're going to give a little information. You're going to be able to watch a short video of Deborah joining us here today, Deborah Ann Jacobs joining me on the show today. Lots of information about her has been flashing across the screen. When we come back, we are taking your calls. We are going to do readings, 1-800-930-2819. I don't know how to use the chat room on Skype or YouTube, but I'm hoping Jessica helps me out. Let's go to a short break. We'll be right back.
What I'm about to do, I'm sure nobody expected.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.
Shine On Radio. Find Your Shine with Kelly is the show that celebrates what makes you, you. Join co-hosts Kelly Wadler and Dr. Pat Basili as they break down how to brilliantly fuel and move your body and love what makes you shine. Kelly is a professional arts and wellness coach dedicated to helping brilliant women find their confidence, energy, self-love, and shine. Tune in to Shine On Radio with Kelly and find your shine on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Have you been seeing numbers like 111 and 222 everywhere you go? Do you feel that the universe may be trying to get your attention, perhaps offering a message of some sort? As it turns out, numerical patterns and certain types of geometry form the very fabric of our reality, from cells under a microscope to the astronomy of our night sky. At Stellar Reflections, we offer special sessions which tap into these patterns, designed specifically to support you on your journey. The 111 and 222 activations are sessions activating new patterns in your energy field, which in turn can help you create new patterns in your life. After just one session with a practitioner, either in person or via distance, clients report gaining greater clarity, becoming more intuitive, and honoring their inner truth as they move forward in their lives. Curious about what these transformational sessions might do for you? Call 425-999-9836 or visit stellarreflections.com. That's stellarreflections.com.
Holistic Medical Center is where you find it all. A healthy space with doctors who care, see, and listen to the whole you. Hi, this is Dr. Darvish. If you have not found an answer to your chronic symptoms, you will find answers here at Holistic Medical Center. Our doctors find the root cause of your symptoms and guide your body towards healing naturally. We transform lives from within. Visit drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
The magic dragon lived by the sea and frolicked in the autumn.
Wow, how cool is that?
I love that song.
Cool is that? Readings by Devra, DEVRA.com is the website. We are taking your calls, 1-800-930-2819. And for those of you out there, if you go to our YouTube channel, and, I wish I even knew what the YouTube channel was, but I'm sure Jessica will type it in there so I do know. You will be able to watch the show live and streaming. And by the way, once the show is over, we're going to put the link out so that you can actually see the show and how it's going and what Jessica's doing with it. But Dever, before we do that, I'd love people to know more about you. And also, would you let folks know how when they're calling into the show to speak with Michael, to give them a little guidance here?
Okay. Well, one thing that to book regular readings with me, I am exclusive to Shirley MacLaine's website. In fact, I'm the only psychic on Shirley's website. So you can get there through my website, or you can go to shirleymaclaine.com, and then I'm under shopping. Or go to Readings by Devra. There's a little intro thing there. About me, wow. I do this because I love this. I love assisting people. I am not one of those people who wants people to be linked to me. In fact, I will cut people off. I want to teach everybody to do this work for themselves. That's why I call myself an intuitive life coach, not a psychic. I just happen to be psychic and have Michael hanging around. And he's not always here either. That's something you should be aware of. And luckily, he will generally show up for things like today.
Right.
He's not always around. That would make me psycho.
Well, let's talk about this for a minute because, for the people calling in, and I just want to remind everyone, opening up the phone lines, 1-800-930-2819. I watch the postings that you do of messages from Michael. And I want to ask this question. You and I were talking about the blood moon, for example, that happened. It's the fourth blood moon. And, all of these four have fell on Jewish traditions. There have been 8 in total in an 8-year. I don't even understand what I'm saying. But people think they have significance. Can you fill in the blanks? What does Michael say about this time?
Well, one of the most important significance, I think, about it that Michael and I discuss is that as people lighten up, find more happy joy, that's what they're looking for, that's what needs to be, and get off the serious train that they've been on, then because of all the 8s, it's going to be a very, very good financial, and it's not a year, it's like years. We're going into an upswing. If people lighten up or enlighten, then we're going into this really massive, very abundant thing where people are going to go major moves and save all these poor people that are running from all these countries and not allow people to starve and not allow people to go hungry in this country and not allow people to be homeless, but taken from a place of because we're embracing each other, not because of social, economic, political, anything. It has to not be serious. It has to be from the heart, emotional change. And if we can do that, then this energy current really as the last 15 years is going to be like a tidal wave of change for the positive. And people who have been sitting around not trying to do their own work, but waiting for somebody else to do it for them are going to understand there is no pill. You just have to step out there and go, okay, what is going to make me happy? What is going to bring me joy? And it may be getting a new job. It may be finding a new love. It may be writing a letter to some head of a country saying, let people in, give them places to live. I don't know what it is. Everybody's joy is different.
Yeah.
You did ask me something before, and Michael wanted me to clarify because I skipped right over it.
Yeah.
When people ask questions when they call in, be absolutely as specific as possible. None of the, when am I going to meet my soulmate type questions. Because he just kind of shakes his head like, oh, Lord.
Yeah. Well, this is really kind of cool. And I have a couple questions for Michael. But before I get to it, Mr. Benny's got somebody that's been waiting to chat. Mr. Benny, who do we have?
Yeah, we'll take Janet calling in from Bainbridge Island. Janet, welcome to the show.
Hey, Janet.
Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So I know, I just love what you're talking about. And as a young girl, I used to draw dragons all the time. It was like this, like my doodle was dragons. And I kind of forgot about it. And then just about a month ago, somebody came to me and said, you have this huge connection to dragon. And I'm like, dragon? Oh, my God, I used to draw dragons all the time. So my question is, what is my work with the dragon? What would they like me to do with it?
Michael has a question, though. He says it wasn't just dragons you were drawing. It was fairies, too, right?
Fairies and flowers and light beings. I mean, I'm an intuitive coach as well, so that's my that's my work and my passion.
I really get that you need to start doing some study on Celtic magic. You have a very strong past life with fairy energy, and the fairies and the dragons are like so close. So when people have told you when you speak or when you work, you're fairy-like, you've heard that?
I've one of my daughters is from the fairy realm, so I'm very familiar with that, and we've always had books about it, and it's been part of my work. So I didn't realize I was so much connected to that. I always thought it was my daughter. I mean, the Avalon and the Mist of Avalon and slaying of the dragons has been part of my fabric.
Of course it has, because that's who you are. I would say get some of the old Celtic books on fairy and dragon magic. I spent time in Scotland last year, and people like us that are drawn to that's the connection. And you can start checking it out in your dream work. Michael's saying that you have a very large green dragon around you, which the green dragons are the ones that take care of the earth and crops and all that. You probably, I'm just kind of throwing psychic out here right now, but I think you probably prefer the mountains to the ocean, right?
Yes.
Yes, because you're an earth being. That's that fairy magic of forest life. Michael says you can also, in your healing work, you can also start studying herbology from the ancient Celts books, because that's something that you could really go off into a direction with your healing work.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow, it's great. Thank you. One of the things I wanted to say to everybody, 1-800-930-2819. If you want to give us a call, we would love to take your call. And if you have a question for Michael, we'd love to be able to give you that answer. Here's a question I have. I want to ask about this thing that, most of us go through when we get dreams. Now, one of the things that I love is that somewhere along the line, somebody tapped me on the shoulder and says, to me, dream big or go home. I don't know what angel that was. Somebody said to me it was Uriel, but I don't know. Okay. Dream big or go home. Yeah. And so, and I've loved being able to do that, but I'm very human. And the human part of me has some doubts, right?
Oh, no, Michael says this you fall right into exactly what he wants people to stop doing. Never ask how, why, or when. Those are the three questions if humans would get rid of, they could definitely dream big, live big. Never ask how, why, or when. How am I going to get that new job? How am I going to get through school? How am I going to be a good mother? Why should I be with this person? Why do they think I'm worthwhile? When is that money? When am I going to win the lottery? You just put it out in the energy of what you want to manifest, because I don't know if that's kind of swearing, Michael. I don't think I can swear on the radio. Okay, so time is bull. There is no such thing. That's a human creation. So if you understand as humans that there is no time, then you can't ask when, right? And the how, well, I don't know how. I mean, how am I going to buy a new car? You don't know. You could win the lottery. Somebody could, send you an inheritance. You could get a raise at work. So why ask how?
Right.
You want to be healthy. Just be healthy. You don't have to say, how am I supposed to cure this? When is it going to go away? That's what puts you into boxes when you ask those three questions. So now everybody listening, every time you start to say how, what, or when, or how, why, and when, you're going to put your hand over your mouth and hear Michael go, don't do that.
Right. Right. It's really interesting that, we're looking at our lives and getting back to the conversation about being gifted. And yet many people go through their lives, Deborah. They go through their lives, and the pain from not being able to bring that gift forward is very, very clear. Yeah. You can hear it when people talk. You can hear that they're compromising on their dreams, right? That they've negotiated for something less because somewhere they think it's not their birthright. And I would love for Michael to talk about that.
Yeah, Michael says, yeah, let's talk about birthright.
Yeah.
It is your right and your responsibility to live in this life in joy and have all that you need. Not necessarily all that you want. He said humans like to tweak the English language. So it's what you dream is not what you want. There's a difference. I'm not sure if we'll understand all this, but when I translate from Michael, it's kind of difficult. If you dream, this wonderful, pick something, Pat. Pick something that you dream.
Oh, here's my dream. It's my dream. You're reading my mind. Michael is like right there. I have had a dream for the past 13 years, and this started out with me dialing a wrong phone number. Michael, I know you're laughing. I know there is no wrong phone number. But my dream is to bring this positive, conscious radio to people all over the world. We get messages now from Belarus, from parts of the country. We're not even sure how people are listening. So in January, we're officially launching transformationradio.fm, and it's 10 unique channels. 10 unique channels, everything from God Talk to Psychic Talk to Green Talk, to Soulmate Radio to Ageless Radio. This is my dream. And, I'm pretty good about not asking the how and why. People just show up to get it done. But for me, the goal is not just doing this, but making this venue affordable for hosts, not having to charge people thousands and thousands of dollars. Because right now, Deborah, the world we live in, independent radio hosts are going to be something of the past if we don't do something different for this kind of radio. That's Michael. There you go.
But see, and Michael says this is why it is coming to fruition. And in talking about it, everybody who has a connection to somebody is going to talk about it to them. And in fact, I know somebody who is looking for a network that is perfect fit. So it's like Michael says, think of it this way. You're setting up the dominoes, right?
Yes.
You're going to knock that domino, which you did as soon as you said, I want this to happen. You knock the domino down, and you just sit back and watch as it goes, brrr, and they all knock down, and you're not doing anything. It's effortless. When you're playing, I don't know if you remember when I owned my magazine.
Yeah.
But this was something I did on $25. I was not good with the English language and did not know how to use a computer. And I said, we need a magazine that covers all parts of New Age, anything enlightened. And I just threw it up to the universe and said, okay, let's go. And it all came together, and it was a beautiful magazine for 9 years, international. But that's what you have to do. As soon as you stop, I never said, how can I do this? Right. When will it happen? Now you've thrown this out there, and then this is where Michael says most people are going to get tied up. They don't trust without them being in charge of the ship that it's going to happen. So Pat, as the control freak that you are, I love you dearly, but as that control freak, you now have to go, okay, baby, walk. Without that trust, that's when people stop. Suddenly they hit a wall and it stops.
Well, it's really interesting that you talk about that because if you ask Linda, about my personality, what she says is I am a shoot from the hip, fly. I can't even describe it, but I am the kind of person that will trust. I'm also the kind of person that as much as I trust, I can doubt. And I think doubt is more toxic than fear. Let's go to the phone, Benny. Oh, my gosh. We'll have to do a whole show on doubt. Yeah. Who do we have, Benny? Thank you.
It'll be Diane from Seattle. Diane, welcome to the show.
Hey, Diane.
Hi there. I have a question about this gift that I have received just of late because I had a very serious surgery and still recovering actually. But I've received this gift that I can talk to people that have passed.
Mm-hmm. That happens.
And what I'm wondering is, can Michael give me an indication of what I am going to do with this or should do with this?
Well, Mike says, it's very interesting. Occasionally that happens with me. That's not one of my specific gifts. But I find that people that have very, very serious surgeries, when you're in surgery, you actually will leave your body and watch it. Some people don't like watching it, so they end up talking to the spirits that are around them that are watching it. And then they come out of the surgery and they're realizing, oh my gosh, I can talk to dead people. What do you want to do with it? Michael wants to know. Is this something that you want to simply start practicing? Remember, you just found an instrument. You just picked up this brand new instrument. You have to learn how to use it, which means read a lot of books from really good mediums, or go take a mediumship class, or just practice wherever you are. Check it out to see if there's any spirits hanging around that you can talk to. And now practice.
Okay, I want to use this. I want to develop this.
Well, there's some amazing books out there on mediumship, and there's an incredible mediumship school in the UK.
Okay, now you have your mission.
Now you have your instruments.
I do, and it's clear.
You have your mission.
Thank you.
Michael wants her to really understand that this is not a gift she was just given.
Right.
This is a gift she has always had.
Wow,
this is standing in front of that orchestra and going, that's the instrument. And it took having this major surgery for her to not only acknowledge its presence, but trust it.
Yeah. This is funny about the surgery thing. That happened to me in 2003 before the wrong phone number. Benny, I know we've got somebody else.
We do. We'll take, I think, time for one more caller. We'll take Julia calling in from Florida. Julia, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome. How can we help you?
Hi, Julia.
Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Basically, my whole life is in transition. I just went through a divorce after 31 years,
and I'm rediscovering me. And I'm temporarily staying with my mother until I figure out my next step. So I'd like to ask Archangel Michael if he can give me some guidance around, making the move and kind of finding my place in the world. Because it's like, everything is changing from where I live to where I work.
Well, he said there's no. Okay, so he talks fast, so I'm just going to kind of jump in here. He says, one, quit feeling bad about living with your mother. There's nothing wrong with living with your mother. And it doesn't diminish who you are or what you've achieved because you're living with your mother. So stop. Okay, he's going to get a little mean, but please understand that he's doing this in a loving way. Get off the pity potty. He wants you to stand in front of a mirror and say, okay, what is it you've always wanted to do, but felt like you were limited? And this is the question. So write this down. This is the question you want to ask yourself. If it wasn't for money, time, or education, and you had all of it, what would you be doing with your life? That's how open this is for you right now. And the other thing is, he wants you to really understand to be really happy that you're no longer with this person because that person was not your soulmate. And the longer you're with somebody who's not your soulmate, the longer it is until you're with the person who is your soulmate.
Oh, so is that a hint that maybe there is a soulmate out there for me?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be nice after having not had that. So.
First, you got to find you. First, you got to do you.
Yes.
And then the other will come.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank
I
you
hope
so
it helps.
much. Yeah. Deborah, how many people, we've been having your website up on the screen, of course, for those watching, but why don't you tell folks the best way they can schedule readings with you? They can go to readingsbydeborah.com, DEV is in Victor, RA, readingsbydeborah.com, and they can find out more about you doing that there, can't they?
Absolutely. There's a lot of information on that site. I think that's probably the easiest way for people to find out about me.
And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I just want to tell you that there's a very special film, a short film that is going to play at the end of this. It really has to do with today's show. It's a video that I put together a number of years ago. It's called A Time to Believe. The music is, of course, by Narayan and Janet. But it is in line with what we're talking about. Deborah, thank you for today. I've got one other question for you. What is your personal message? What would you and Michael like to leave us with today?
If it's not fun, don't do it. Because no matter how hard it seems like it's going to be, there is that fun element. Even, I don't care if you have cancer. There is a way to have that fun, joyous element in your life. Find it, grab a hold of it, and you'll be fine.
I love it. Thank you so much for today. And I'll have to connect with you and find out what Michael has to say to me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. Benny, thank you for what you're doing. Jessica, thank you for what you're doing. And, this is a fun medium. I never thought in a million years we'd been doing live streaming anything. Welcome to the 25th century. Today. Okay, everybody, we'll see you next time.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.